Why is ICDL more important than ever? What is it about us that really is critical? I think the first thing to say is we embrace the inner life of each child and person. We don't focus on simply what they do, but who they are and who they are within. And I think that we distinguish ourselves in the field of autism in that regard. The second thing is we embrace the strengths and the gifts that each person has. And I think we'll hear more about that later when we hear from John Elder Robeson about what we call autism is often obscured by this notion that it's a disease or a deficit. And I think we're thinking otherwise. An ICDL with its multidisciplinary thinkers and the synthetic ability for Stanley to pull things together, I think helped us know that. Similarly, number three, we embrace neurodiversity. I think it is so great to know that each of us have all these ways of being that others might see as quirks, but who define us. Freud had a wonderful way of speaking about mental health. He said that essentially it's the ability to love and work. So if you can love people and if you can engage in work, you can be the garden variety neurotics we all are, right? We can be the kind of quirky people. I always cite my sensory needs as I never tie my tie all the way because I hate that feeling around my neck. And my daughter, who couldn't wear socks with seams, is now an OT. So I think we really embrace neurodiversity. I think the fourth thing is we are in the midst of a paradigm shift in the field of autism. And I think if we can use the word of Thomas Kuhn, a wonderful philosopher of science, we're in the middle of a paradigm revolution. And I think we've led that revolution. We've led that idea that looking at behaviors is just insufficient. The idea that consequences change our behavior is absolutely true. There are probably tens of thousands of studies that show that. But that's not what autism is, right? So we are the ones who I think will lead this paradigm shift that the sciences are now fueling us to have. We need to have a different framework to understand human development. However, we need to engage and embrace those who think differently than us. And I think that's one of the things Jeff does so well. Jeff is able to represent the best part of who we are when we nevertheless engage those who think differently than us. And I think I wish government leaders did that more. And if for those who are interested, Stanley Greenspan and Stuart Shanker wrote this wonderful monograph called Towards the Psychology of Global Interdependence, where they actually apply the 16 functional emotional developmental capacities to government leaders. And actually, if you read that book, you'll discover some of our leaders were polarized thinkers. I'm not going to mention any names, Bush. But I think we know we need to embrace those. We must bring not only a behavioral analysis to our work, but a conceptual analysis. We have to be thinkers. We have to recognize that what we see is defined by our nature, our ideas of human development. And science is not the province of scientists. Behavior is not the province of behaviorists. We are all invested in science, especially autistics and their families. So we can't falter, we can't slow down. It's the zen of ICDL. If you get tired, keep going. And I think Stanley was that way, by the way, for those of you who knew him in his illness. He was desperately trying to be sure his word got out, and I think he was inspirational for us all. So the eighth thing, we must nurture each other. I'm a hugger, so hug each other. If hugging is not your thing, because we have to respect those neurosensory differences, care for each other, take care of each other. We must have fun and celebrate, so some of our time here today is going to be to have fun and celebrate. And finally, we must create a vision for human development that embraces all of us in the collective, diverse mosaic. Enjoy these 2 days and leave here invigorated. So thank you.